Hello everyone, welcome back in here, into the studio. My name is Hampton and I am your guide, your instructor, as we make beautiful paintings that explore stories and origins. Today we are wrapping up this painting that is based off of William Faulkner's classic American novel, As I Lay Dying. As we pick up where we left off last week, we'll be painting in the hair and all the wood grain in the background and kind of this quilted shirt or top that's left to be painted. And I want to walk you through what's going on in my mind throughout that whole process. So without further ado, let's dive in by painting the hair. And this dark brunette hair is definitely a challenge, but it's actually almost easier painting with these brunettes. We get to lay down some beautifully rich and deep colors using our brush strokes to follow the form of the hair. We'll get to imply the direction that it's moving just from the get-go with those simple brush strokes. And then we'll grab our kind of zinc white or our flake white, a kind of a lighter white, if you will, and use that to capture those highlighting moments. The hair is kind of like ocean waves. We follow them as each bunch collides together. And we'll contrast that on the far side of the face with some other deep shadows. Only over here we get to add some yellow ochres into those deep burnt siennas and viridians that we have, being careful to create a soft edge where the shadow meets the face. We don't want there to be a harsh line here. Instead, we want something to hint this face is kind of shifting over and wrapping around into those darks. And now the fun and, I'll be honest, quite challenging aspect of this painting in the wood grain. You'll notice that I'm not trying to paint every aspect of the wood grain. I would kind of be foolish to. There's quite a lot there, and it would be an entirely different kind of painting style than we've created or invoked in the beginning here. Instead, I want you to slow down and think about painting just the gesture of the wood grain. Because when you look at, say, a piece of wood, you aren't focusing on every aspect of it. Rather, you're maybe looking at a single piece of it, and the rest fades away, is out of focus in your vision. We want to kind of replicate that style of looking at the world in painting as well. And I'm doing that by creating a lot of detail around the face. And when it comes to the wood grain, I'm gesturing it in, implying it, kind of creating broader strokes that capture the larger, more prominent grain elements in the wood. Yellow ochres and burnt siennas and even a lot of cerulean blues and titanium whites work here. And in the end, I'll come back with a finer pointed brush and apply that texture, really capturing any pieces of grain I see necessary that really fit with the whole piece. The result is something I think is already beautiful and I was nervous about from the get-go, so don't be too afraid if you're starting to paint wood and it feels off or you're having to really build up to the color. Now where our wood grain has an edge to it, this quilted shirt is quite the opposite. I want it to be flowing and billowy. I want it to kind of roll and feel light and airy. I want it to almost feel like a collection of clouds all colliding together, sitting in the same space. And so I'm doing that by laying in this off-white color and starting with the collar, which has all the colors that I'm going to work with elsewhere and gives me some space to figure out just exactly how I'm going to make these darks and lights merge together. With that finished and me starting on the shirt, it's different than maybe the wood grain where I'm trying to gesture it all in. There's an element of gesture still happening, but I realized to create that quilted look, I would still have to get quite a bit of detail going on. So I'm trying to balance that detail with simple strokes. In a sped up version of this, you see just how much is going on with tweaking, laying in darks, lightening those darks, and then pulling them back to a mid-tone again. It's this back and forth dance that I'm doing to create that perfect balance, that fluffiness and yet not making it too bright because it might detract our eye from the face, and yet I want that flowing airiness to it. And the result is a piece that I find beautiful. There's a lot of texture going on in the wood grain and the background, and so much happening in this quilted shirt, a painting that I hope captures the heartbeat of a story that I love. And I look forward to telling more stories and letting you inside my process here in the studio. If you have any questions about this painting that I made here, please comment below, because I want to teach each and every one of you how to paint with oils. I think anyone can learn, and I want to share. I have weekly tutorials on my Patreon, so follow along there, and if you want to connect with an artistic community, reach out on Discord. I can't wait to share more paintings with you, and look forward to doing so in the future. Until then, cheers.